Performances were great. Chris Hemsworth more and more just owns this Thor. And you can tell he has a joy playing this Thor. And he's constantly carrying it. And by the way, some people saying, well, this is going to be Jane's movie.
So what can I say, folks? The hits just keep on coming. Oh, this is so fantastic. Oh, Cosmic Book News. They just reported this yesterday. Thor, Boobs and Thunder, Thor, Love and Blunder, whatever you want to call it, a disaster. They've compared it to Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher's magnum opus for that particular franchise, that superhero. Now look, before I go on further, I'm not going to really shit all over Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin. It was a different era, it was a different time. Warner Brothers were just dumb and stupid and thought toys sold the film, which is why Michael Keaton never came back to do Batman Forever or anything after that, because he knew it was absolute trash, and he was absolutely right. But if we didn't have Batman and Robin, we would not have had Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, or rather Batman Begins, in 2005. So for that disaster, we got Christopher Nolan's Batman films, and we'll say no more about that one. Kevin Feige's Phase 4 might have another big failure following all the Disney Plus shows and MCU films that have disappointed. In other words, that has put them through the meat grinder, and out comes a ton of dog shit. So it serves Kevin Feige, Victoria Alonso, all the other woke people who work at Marvel. It serves them right. It absolutely does. And I don't really feel sorry for them any way, shape or form. Thor, Boobs and Thunder might be the next big failure to come out of Kevin Feige's arsehole. Oh, what a problem that's going to be. Dear oh dear. Hope you got your medical bills ready, Mr. Fugi. Twitter user Christian Toto, okay, who runs a blog that is described as the right take on entertainment. Oh, I think I better give him a follow. And also writes for the Daily Wire. There you go. Tweeted out his reaction to Thor, Love and Blunder, offering the film is a tonal disaster and more. Saw Thor, Love and Thunder, full review next week. Can share it's way more Batman and Robin than any superhero film should be. Tonal disaster, states the tweet. Awesome, can't wait to see that. In fact, I'll probably go over to his actual page and give him a good old like. Comparing Thor, Love and Thunder to Batman and Robin isn't a good sign. Of course it's not. Now, oh my god, Batman and Robin only scored 12% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 16% audience score. The film is really goofy. Schumacher gave the George Clooney batsuit nipples for some reason. And also starring in the flick was Chris O'Donnell as Robin, Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, and the compost heap Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. I tell you what, that film is riddled with so many innuendos that if you don't get what's going on, they're just going to whiz by your pretty little head. So yeah, I've mentioned the Batman Begins thing. I didn't actually know they were going to bring that up here, so that's pretty cool. That is hilarious, actually. Anyway, further adding layers of cringe to this already terrible wedding cake, Tessa Thompson says her portrayal of Valkyrie's bisexuality was a big topic of conversation between her and Loverboy Taika Waititi. Oh boy. So according to her, now this is the thing, right? Actors need to act, teach everybody else how to act, not to have your own opinion, because honestly, there is something she says here which really wound me up, and I'm going to get into it. So, Thompson opened up about this conversation regarding Valkyrie's LGBT identity during a recent interview with Yahoo Entertainment, published on July the 29th, so well within Pride Month, telling the news outlet that we talked about it a lot. It was a big topic of conversation. Batting my eyelids at Taika while he tried to zip his trousers up. Because I think rightfully there's this real want in audiences to see characters to be very queer, No, they don't. Really, what they're doing here is just overstating the fact. That is it. The actress who herself is bisexual said, and I think it's hugely important to have representation. Tessa Love, I know you're born after a certain time and obviously been hit on the head too many times or maybe dropped from too many windows, but hate to break it to you, there's always been representation in films. But obviously the representation you're talking about is the same woke representation that is driving audiences away from the cinema. So you might want to sit back and rethink what you actually want to say or what you want to get across. She continued. And also, this is the cringe bit, by the way, guys. As humans, I think that we are not defined by our sexuality and by who we love. Well, of course, your sexuality defines who you are. You're either straight or you're gay, aren't you? So what is she talking about that you're not defined by your sexuality? That is one of the very clear human traits that defines you as a person. And so sometimes I think to hang a narrative completely on that is a way of actually diminishing the humanity of the character because you don't allow them to be anything else. But the problem is, if you're shoving in identity and gender politics into a character, that is going to diminish the character because what we knew them to be from the beginning and what we know them to be now because of Disney and Marvel and anybody else on this bandwagon, that's the damage right there. So actors, actresses, please don't give your opinion about the narrative in films and why this has to happen and why that has to happen. We don't want your opinion. Maybe go on the chat show with Jimmy Kimmel because that guy's completely gone woke now instead of broke. Maybe give him your opinion on his dreadful disaster ratings TV show. However, despite the special care and attention given to the subject by both Waititi and Thompson herself, revealed that the film ultimately spent no time exploring Valkyrie's love life. So why are we getting this verbal diatribe about how important it is for some person's sexuality to be represented in the most accurate way? Oh my god, let's prop my head up. Noting that when a character's sexuality is brought into the spotlight, it becomes the only storyline. Thompson asserted that this rang true, particularly in a movie like this, where you don't frankly have a lot of room for storyline. Yeah, because from what Christian Toto said, it's more like Batman and Robin Part 2. So there was a lot of conversation in terms of how to treat that with Valkyrie. Probably lots of hand jobs as well. She said, and I feel really good personally about where we got to. I hope that she's a character that fans continue to connect to. No, she's not. That we have a lot of time to explore her in all of her humanity. Yeah, wow. Oh, here we go. Here's the other cringe bit coming up. But whether or not she finds love in this movie doesn't mean she's still not a fabulous queer character that is open to finding love when it makes sense. No, Tessa Thompson, because you're friggin' butt ugly. Nobody thinks you're Valkyrie. You're never my Valkyrie anyway. So why do we even care one iota what this mad woman is actually spewing to us in this article? Oh god, John Campier, holy hell. I don't think I want to see. Shall we look at John's reaction very quickly? Oh, this should be hilarious.
Rob, what is our fifth main topic today?
It comes from Mark.
The social media reactions from Thor Love and Thunder. They have been bonkers good. Like,
no, they haven't, John. I've just read the Daily Wire's reaction.
So we can talk about our initial reactions. A thoroughly entertaining movie. Or some people correct me and say a thoroughly entertaining movie. I was very entertained by it. I was. It is sillier than Thor Ragnarok. It took those silly elements and decided to lean into them and go a little bit that way.
Dislike.
Thor and Jane's relationship. I've never cared about it. This movie made me care about it.
Oh my god, no!
I actually like this relationship
Why?
now. And I've never liked that relationship before. So
because the relationship sucked?
Since the J.K. Simmons in Spider-Man Far From Home mid-credit scene. And it's the first time I gasped in a post-credit scene.
No,
post-credit scene, I'm like,
really
what?
stiff my armpits.
So for me, it was very, very good. That post-credit scene was fantastic. The performances were great. Chris Hemsworth more and more just owns this Thor, and you can tell he has a joy playing this Thor, and he's constantly carrying it. And by the way, some people saying, well, this is going to be Jane's movie. It's not Jane's movie. This is Chris Hemsworth's movie. Jane is definitely a supporting character. That said, Natalie Portman, I thought was great. Tessa Thompson, great. Christian Bale is Christian Bale, so water wet. Christian Bale was great.
Okay, so we've got a bit of a contrasting conflict of opinion here. So Daily Wire Christian Toto just says, tonally, it is a disaster. John Campea, who thought Shang-Chi was the best thing since Chop Suey and saw that film 7+ times with his wife, so God knows where his thinking was. I too was really excited for Shang-Chi. Then I saw the film, and then I completely did a U-turn like you wouldn't believe, because I thought that film was a complete disaster. It was the first time I realized what everybody was telling me like weeks and months and maybe a year or two ago, what Marvel were doing. And clearly in Shang-Chi, you saw that Shang-Chi wasn't even the main star. Simu Liu, he's an okay dude, but he's had some very strange things offline on Reddit. If you read those things, they're pretty seedy and sick and disgusting. So why Marvel are happy to represent him. And of course, if you saw the Shang-Chi premiere last year, it was all about diversity and how this is the first American Asian movie to hit the mainstream media, which is absolutely dumb, because Jackie Chan was doing that way before and really had his transformative crossover with the Rush Hour films with Chris Tucker. But nobody wants to remember those, do they? Because Jackie Chan apparently isn't a national cinematic treasure of an icon. So, my God. Thor Love and Blunder, I'm still not going to watch it. If you look at the engagement rate on this video here, it's only good, it's not brilliant. I think the real truth is going to be next week when we see the real reviews pouring out. Christian Toto at the Daily Wire. I'll be very curious to see what his full review is going to be like. And I'm sure, like all these paid shill outlets, like John Campea Show and everybody else in that sphere, like Collider, they're all going to be pouring their hearts out how great this film Thor 4 is, because you know it's going to be there for the Valkyrie, the Jane dynamic, the diversity, because Marvel films apparently aren't diverse enough. So that's it, man. I just thought that reaction from Christian Toto really sold it to me, and I believe him 100%. So folks, if you enjoyed this Mjolnir-wielding quick reaction review today to Thor Love and Thunder, the disaster which keeps on giving, which keeps on happening, make sure you leave a like below. Make sure you slap that subscribe button. And if I were you, and if you were me, check out the next video.
Like and subscribe, or get your nuts Krogan crushed with Jason King.